Today, we're going to sit in on a high school group project. But this isn't your average assignment. These students have to design a perfect world, a golden age civilization, and their journey kicks off with a massive question.
I mean, it's a huge question, right? One we've all probably kicked around in our heads. But for these students, it's not just a thought experiment, it's literally their homework. So let's see what they come up with.
That's Evan, one of the students, laying out the official assignment. They need to figure out what a high school would even look like in a perfect world. But as you're about to see, their brainstorming session goes from utopian dreams to some pretty dystopian shortcuts, real fast.
So, what's their first instinct? Is to find a shortcut, right? They start exploring how technology or some other outside force could just make society perfect. Trying to skip all the messy work of actually changing people. And their first couple of ideas are a little out there.
A student named Diesel just jumps right in with this wild proposal. What if we just put a computer chip in everyone's brain? Boom, instant knowledge. No more school, no more teachers. Another student, Abby, she actually loves this idea. She's picturing getting all the right beliefs downloaded right into her head while she sleeps. But Rev and Evan, they pump the brakes hard. They're not about to hand over control of their own minds to some human programmer. I mean, what happens if that system gets hacked?
And that is Evan's perfect, deadpan response to the whole what if a virus caused chaos idea. It's such a sharp, satirical jab, basically saying, hey, maybe our current world isn't all that far from your worst-case scenario.
Okay, so the whole brain chip tech takeover thing is a little too much for Abby. She pitches a spiritual shortcut instead. Forget technology, just surrender your willpower completely to a divine being. She argues that if you let a Holy Spirit take the wheel, you're guaranteed to be good, and you get a first-class ticket to heaven. Easy peasy.
But again, Evan is there to play devil's advocate. What if an evil spirit just pretends to be a holy one? You could be tricked into doing horrible things all while thinking you're on the side of the angels. It's a really good point about the dangers of just blindly giving up your own judgment.
All right, so brain chips are out, and so is spiritual possession. Rev jumps in with option number 3, a world run by AI robot slaves. They do everything, from cooking your food to building your mansion, leaving all the humans free to just, play video games all day. Diesel is all in on this. He sees it as the ultimate power fantasy. But Evan sees a totally different future, a world filled with lazy, selfish, entitled people who've never had to work for anything.
And at this point, Evan has just had enough. Brain chips, holy spirits, robot slaves, every single one of these so-called utopias seems to cause more problems than it solves. He realizes they're going about this all wrong. They need to scrap everything and start from scratch. It is time for a hard reset. And this moment, it's a total game changer for their project. Evan argues they've been focusing on the completely wrong thing. He says the goal shouldn't be to create a perfect world for our physical comfort and pleasure, but to design a world that's perfect for developing the human soul. So this becomes their new guiding principle. Forget all the external fixes. A real golden age, according to Evan's new pitch, is built on things like wisdom and virtue, and about preserving your freedom by actually using it wisely.
Diesel, though, he's still hung up on this fundamental trade-off. He asks, why can't I use my superpowers to produce selfish pleasure? And that question, it perfectly sums up the core conflict of their entire debate. Is the whole point of life to be happy, or is it to be powerful?
So with this new mission, this new focus on the soul, the group finally gets down to designing the actual high school. And their very first decision about who's going to do the teaching, well, it's a big one. Yep, you heard that right. The school's first teachers won't be people. Because, as they see it, no current adults are actually qualified to teach these kinds of mystic arts. The first teachers will be master spirits. Then, over time, as students graduate, they'll become the qualified human teachers for the next generation.
So, what's on the syllabus at a school for mystics? Well, the curriculum is all about understanding cosmic laws, connecting with your own soul, and even learning practical skills, like how to recall your past lives. But most importantly, kids are trained from a young age to develop their inner mystic senses, things like foresight and a really deep intuition.
Now this leads to one of the biggest, most radical changes in their new world: total transparency. There is no hiding who you really are, because your character, all your virtues, all your flaws, they're visible to everyone as an energy field, an aura. A good virtuous person literally glows with this bright, steady light. But a corrupt person, they're surrounded by this murky, stagnant cloud.
And the social consequences of this are just enormous. Think about it. When you can perceive auras and even people's thoughts, society has this new, profound level of accountability. You couldn't hide your evil intentions. Someone with a dark, corrupted aura would find it impossible to get a job, to make friends, or to be trusted around other people.
Okay, so how do these superpowers and mystic abilities actually work? Well, the students decide it all comes down to a fundamental cosmic law about energy. Basically, there are two types. You've got pure mystic energy, which you earn through virtuous thoughts and actions. It's yours. You build it up, you can invest it. But then there's corrupted chaos energy. And that stuff is everywhere, it's easy to get, and it's super tempting. But it always comes with a hidden price tag.
And Rev just nails it with the perfect analogy. He says using pure energy is like spending money you've actually earned and putting in your checking account. But using chaos energy, that's like running up a massive credit card bill with insane interest and late fees. It feels free in the moment, but eventually, it will drag you down into a debt that you just can't escape.
This leads them to a totally new way of looking at karma. It's not some punishment from the universe. No, it's more like a final lesson. It's the teacher of last resort for people who just refuse to learn any other way.
And here's the crucial part. How you experience that karmic lesson when it comes back around depends entirely on you. A prepared student, someone who's developed their inner senses, can see it coming. They can use it as an opportunity to grow. But an unprepared person, they experience that exact same lesson as a sudden, random, painful tragedy.
So, after designing this entire, complex, spiritually advanced world, the conversation comes full circle, landing right back at the core conflict between the students themselves.
The entire discussion, all this deep work, ends on that one exasperated question from Evan to Diesel. After everything they designed, a world based on cosmic law and earned virtue, Diesel cracks a joke about using mind control to get a good grade on the project. It's the perfect ending, really. It just goes to show that the tension between seeking wisdom and just wanting selfish pleasure, it never really goes away. And it leaves us all with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Can you ever design a perfect world if you can't even change the mind of the person sitting right next to you?